games we might get some competitive action, but again, I cannot see Miami's path to success.
Yeah. Let's see what our next guest thinks. He used to be a producer here.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Sactown Sports.
Laid the groundwork.
You see him on Fox 40, longtime friend, the truly great, on and off camera, Sean Cunningham with us. How are you, Sean?
I don't know if I'm great, but you guys are doing great stuff here in the middays. Whitey, Chris, how are you?
Good.
Sean, how you doing?
I'm good. I got to admit, it's kind of funny to come on to talk Kings right around this time, because if you could only see me a week ago, man, I was in checkout mode, full off-season mode, looking forward to my favorite event of the year, which was Bottle Rock, which comes at just like the absolute best time of the year for me.
Yeah.
And jumping back into the routine of things this week has been a major challenge, but it's been fun, man. How's everything with you guys?
Good. What's
Pretty
this
good.
about you and Domantas Sabonis hanging out at the zoo? What is going on? What is going on?
We wanted to go check out the giraffes. He's got a son named Tiger. So there's the animal thing. No, I mean, it was cool. Look, anytime there's a Kings person in the community, I think Whitey, Chris, you both know, I love showing the other side of athletes, and community stuff is where it's at. And I think fans really love to see the other side of players too, especially in this town, because let's face it, you're not just a basketball player or a star athlete in this town. I mean, the fans want to know so much more about you. So yeah, he was part of a group with Jennifer Siebel Newsom, the first partner of California, and First Five California, where they're bringing awareness to adverse childhood experiences that cause toxic stress. And he's a brand new father. His son Tiger is 14 months old. He's got another baby on the way later this year. So it was kind of interesting, because you see all these speakers get up there, and he spoke, and he was able to speak in Spanish at a certain point, which is always kind of fun to watch him do. And some people, you get some politicians up there, they'll speak, and not to say that they're, insincere, but they'll speak and get the hell out of there. They got busy stuff to do. And Domas stayed there the entire time. He's listening to the panel. He's really trying to get educated on this, and you could tell it was really important for him. So yeah, it was cool to catch up with him. Obviously there's a little bit of a sports angle there too. I wanted to, see how his hand was doing, what's FIBA look like this year, what's the offseason look like. And hell, I didn't even tweet it yet, but I'll tell you, I mean, the hand, to be honest, is they're still seeing how it's going to rehab. There really isn't much of an update on his hand since the season ended, and we had the go away press conference. They're still waiting to see how it rehabs. He didn't have any brace on there, no wrap. He's able to shake his hand. He's pretty confident that things will be good, but it's still a little bit of a wait and see. But surgery's not off the table yet.
Tell him, my mom worked at a hospital. My wife does, and I've been to the hospital. I'm happy to take a look at it for him if he wants. But anyway,
I can pass that along.
Okay.
Hey, every bit of information helps, right?
Exactly.
Sure. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Sean, what's the NBA Finals storyline that's catching your eye the most?
I can't lie. I mean, it's all Gabe Vincent for me. I mean, I keep in contact with a lot of our local athletes. I did his interview with Gabe just yesterday on the eve of the finals. And if people aren't familiar with his story, especially for being a local guy, I mean, born in Modesto, went to Stockton's St. Mary's High School, went down and spoke to his high school coach last night, Ken Green. And there's not much difference from Gabe today to where that kid was in high school. He spent his freshman year at Modesto Christian High School before going over to St. Mary's. And if you're a Kings fan, he was in your organization. Like, the famous picture of him being in Vladdy's office with his draft board and the Godfather, the Vladfather picture up on his desk there as they signed him to a small contract that was enable him to get some, exhibit contract where he can get some more money to play for Stockton. And then the Miami Heat came in and swooped him up, and he fits that cast of characters that are almost the overlooked underdogs, overachievers. And I talked to him in the finals when they were in the bubble, and he was on that team, and he didn't play a lick, but he helped him compete. And here he is as a starter with Kyle Lowry on that team, and he's able to he has the utmost, they have the utmost confidence in him. You've seen him grow, and to see his basketball journey take him here to a second NBA Finals appearance, and see him so excited to be able to take the floor and not know if he's going to have those nerves tonight in Game 1 is just it's really cool to see his journey, and I'm happy for him, knowing people around him and just seeing his journey. Guy went to Santa Barbara. I mean, this is not a guy who went to a big D1 school like a Kentucky or a Duke or North Carolina, and here he is in the NBA Finals, and Jimmy Butler loves him. And I'm thrilled for him because in the offseason, he gets to control his own destiny for the first time ever in his NBA career at the age of 26 as he becomes an unrestricted free agent.
Sean Cunningham with us from Fox 40. Given the view you've had of the Kings up close and personal for so long, how cool is it to see Michael Malone where he is right now?
Oh man, I'm thrilled for him. I mean, yeah, it's great. I will admit I'm a little tired of the whole, hey, no one gives us any credit. No one, everyone's kind of gives, he talks a lot about the narrative and how no one, gives Joker his just due. And he's right, but there's a little bit of a shelf life to that, I feel. And it's kind of becoming a little nauseating, but if it works, I mean, these guys are getting by with whatever material that motivates them. You look for that bulletin board material, and if they go into a series and this pumps them up, then I guess you got to stick with what works. So loved having Michael Malone's candor in Sacramento. I thought he was just a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways from some of the coaches that they'd had previously. There's a little honestly, in my opinion, as long as I've done this, and Whitey, I don't know if you'd agree, but there's a little kind of similarity with him and Mike Brown, where they might be the right coach for the moment. And obviously there were some people within the Kings organization at the time that didn't feel that way. But the holding people accountable, the attention to detail, obviously Mike Brown and him want to be known as defensive coaches, but there's obviously struggles there, but loved him in Sacramento. Thought he was just a total breath of fresh air, what they needed. And yeah, it's unfortunate his tenure didn't last as long as it probably should have, but it certainly paved a road forward for him to go to Denver, find continuity, and get them to the finals here so many years later.
Yeah, obviously Michael Malone's exit here in Sacramento was less than ceremonious and came under some weird circumstances. What about what during Mike Malone's tenure here in Sacramento did you see that made or that led you to see future success for him in the coaching line?
I think it's the candor. I think it's just how real he is with players. Like, every coach kind of loves on their players and wants to hold them accountable, but he goes to bat for them in a lot of ways, but there's a definite attention to detail and accountability. He's got a lot of people on that staff that were here. I know Ryan Bowen is first and foremost one of the ones that kind of stick out, and he keeps a very OCD like approach, and that's very similar to Mike Brown. And there's a lot of I mentioned the attention to detail, but everything is so laid out in front of us. Everyone knows what to expect. Everyone knows roles. I mean, everything is so well detailed. So I think he, obviously he came over into Sacramento, his first head coaching gig, coming from a Warriors team where he was credited a lot of times with what went right for the Warriors and kind of doing some of the things that, Mark Jackson may have been given a little bit of a, not as much credit. They said, Michael Malone's doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and he's obviously got a short fuse, and you can see some of the temper that is certainly there. But yeah, I mean, for a guy who literally was going to be, he comes from a coaching tree. His father, obviously Brendan Malone, was a coach and part of his staff here in Sacramento, and you can certainly see the influence. But for a guy who, if basketball didn't work out, was going to be like a Secret Service agent, that makes sense.
Wow. We appreciate it. Sean Cunningham, Fox 40. Before we let you go, Sean, I got to ask you, since you're hanging out at the zoo with Domantas Sabonis, Sean Cunningham's FZA favorite zoo animal. What do you got?
Dude, it's gotta be the giraffes. I mean, you can see them even without getting a ticket to the zoo. I don't recommend that though. Go in and get that experience. It was kind of funny. Like, we're watching this event and I'm standing like off to this path, and all of a sudden me and my photographer, I just kind of look over, and then there's these ducks. I put it on my Instagram. It's like, these ducks have like no fear, and they're just walking right next to you. One guy almost tripped over one of them. Yeah, I hadn't been to the zoo in a very long time. Fairy Tale Town right next door.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those giraffes are so cool. If you could go out over to Stutterville, you can always see them over the fence. Just it's a real thrill. I haven't been to the zoo in a long time, but to do it with Domas was kind of it's kind of an experience.
Thanks, Sean. Enjoy the finals, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
Appreciate it,
Sean.
Yeah. Funny thing about the giraffe, as long as their necks are, they have the same number of vertebrae in their necks that we do. Did you know that? Did you know that?
Of course, I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
How was I supposed to know that?
All right.
I skipped all my zoology classes in college. So.
We will get Chris Watkins' favorite zoo animal.
Hey,
in
I got to
just a
think
moment.
about it.
Also, is